Alrighty, good afternoon, folks. Hajim Zero here, back with another movie review. This is technically the last of the animated movie reviews. But anyway, this one is Batman Ninja. Uh, and hopefully this one gets a lot of reviews because this, of course, is a fairly new movie that just came out. But I'm gonna dive right in. So pretty much with the story, I'm gonna talk about first, and then I'll go into the technical part, and it'll just be a fairly basic review. Hopefully 10 minutes. We'll see what happens. So Batman Ninja is another what if Batman Elseworld story, whatever you want to call it, and he's pretty much fighting Gorilla Grodd at the beginning of the movie. Gorilla Grodd is like making. Oh yeah, by the way, there's gonna be spoilers, so yeah, get ready for that one. But anyway, Gorilla Grodd is making this quantum. I think it's called quantum engine. It's something engine. It's some kind of time machine, and they really didn't explain it thoroughly. But the whole building that they were in, it was him and Batman. It was actually Arkham they were in, and it sucked everybody back in time to feudal Japan to like the Sengoku era, with the warring states and whatnot. And like I said, I don't know if they purposely threw out the continuity because it would make sense if everybody in that building was some kind of, you know, um, of course they were in a feudal, a Japanese esque, attire, but of course Red Robin and the other Robins, the whole Bat family, except for Bat Girl, made an appearance in this, which was kind of odd because when I first heard about this, you see the trailer, they have a lot of different characters, but there were some that were missing. And watching behind the scenes, Ra's al Ghul, I really wanted to see him in there. If they may ever make a sequel, I could see that one happening. But they're pretty much taken back to the whole Sengoku era. And off the top of my head, I'm gonna list all the characters that are in there. It's Batman, Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, Catwoman, Deathstroke, Joker, Bane, Harley Quinn, Alfred. I want to say the guy who's in uh, the Batman Ninja Clan. That could be Commissioner Gordon. Now that I think about it, but they made him out to be a new complete character. Anyway, Poison Ivy, Penguin, Two Face, and I think I said Deathstroke already, but I really don't know. But those are all the characters that pretty much appear. Oh, and of course Gorilla Grodd. Um, so uh, pretty much what happened is that all the major villains they break up into the powers that are over the warring states, and bit by bit, you better not start playing. I heard the thing go, but anyway, bit by bit, uh, I think they were pretty much dominating the whole thing, and Batman's gadgets and all that didn't work because it was a slight time lapse where he actually arrived later, and the Joker and everybody else had time to prep for like 2 years and control all the states. So they really didn't explain that one really well because you would assume they all arrived at the same time because where Gorilla Grodd and Batman ran when it went off, they were in the same room. It's not like he ran up and showed up late in the building or something, and then he finally caught up to where he had appeared. But that's pretty much it with the whole thing. It's just him trying to stop the Joker and get his courage. No, well, not really his courage, but learn the tactics of the ninja back then. His gadgets didn't work and all that, so he takes a different approach, and it's really the way of the samurai ninja. Um, and to be honest, doing history, with the ninja and samurai, they're technically the same thing. You know, I don't know. I think it's because of how the media perceives ninja or whatever. They think it's two different things. The ninja were actually classes of samurai. They were only assigned for pretty much assassination missions. They're pretty much like the best way I can describe it, either like black ops or if you want to call them hitmen, but modernly the hitmen are really the or technically the yakuza. So it's a toss up with that. But samurai and ninja, they're pretty much the same. It's the same thing. It's just a different class. Just like how you have the ronin samurai or the bushido. You know, they all had different things. It was just, you know, the samurai was just a noble warrior, and then each single title were different things. I think one was more noble to the to the emperor or the empress, and then you had the ronin who didn't have a master. He was the one that was deemed the most, you know, unworthy, because most likely he killed his master, you know, one way or another, if he was banished from the school, or you know, if he really was rebellious. I'm assuming, you know, he kept, pretty much had no honor. So he, that's really what it is. To be honest, I probably fit that way too, because you know, I wouldn't kill him, but I don't want to be someone's master. But usually, you know, with their culture, once you're already trained to a certain highest order, you want to get out on your own. I think that's an acceptable thing. But I gotta look more into the culture to see if that's an answer, or at least ask around. But pretty much it's just Batman fighting all the states. It's a lot of crossovers and backstabbings. You know, Selena Kyle, of course, is on Batman's side. It's just a slight, you know, I don't think she double crosses him, but he did team up with Garrod at one point. And he, of course, he ended up double crossing him, and then the Joker double crossed Garrod, and then Garrod went back to Batman. It was just a unique story. Now I'm gonna get to the technical part. This film was done by who was it? Takashi Bob Okazaki. That's the guy that did Afro Samurai. And looking at this, you can definitely tell. It is a little bit, tad bit different, because what I noticed, I think they rendered a little bit of 3D animation in this, which is pretty cool, you know, and it's a good thing, because you know, I haven't seen that animation ever since Blue Submarine #6, and pretty much Blue Submarine #6 was I'm not going to talk much about it. I might talk about it a lot on the Animatrix, because one of the directors had did a piece on there, but it's pretty much 2D characters, um, flat 2D characters in a three-dimensional background or something in the foreground. Now it is slightly different on here, because you know, you can tell with the 2D line shading up close on the characters, but you can tell that the color was much more 3D. It was, you know, splash and watercolor, especially one part of the movie where it looks like a Japanese, you know, Ikuedo, you know, painting. If I said that right, I probably didn't. Um, and it's just brought to life, and it just looks, you know, it's a good, very very good, you know, piece of art. And they say with anime, why it does really really well is because they give more on the visuals versus telling you what's there. And there's some movies here in cinema that have done really really well, that stand out for doing the same thing. Some of the westerns kind of do that, and even the westerns and the samurai films, they play off of each other a lot. You have the lone samurai, the lone sheriff. He cleans up the town, and he just walks off into the sunset. You know, a lot of the movies, you know, render off each other. But again, I'm not going to get to that, because I have a couple Western movies in myself I'm gonna review, and I'm gonna talk about all that in there. So, uh, he did a really good job. You know, I can possibly could have guessed if that was him who had did the artwork. Well, with the character design, but right when it got to like Afro Samurai Resurrection, that's when you can tell some of the elements. It was more of a learning tool for him a little bit, and then he did, Batman Ninja. But looking at the original concept, I think it was more of another person, whoever was the technical part on it, that added that little extra tidbit, because it looked a little bit like some of it reminded me of the 13 video game. I don't know if we have any cult video games in the house here on the channel, but 13 was a game that was on a GameCube. It was like a comic book, 3D rendered looking game. It was a first person shooter, and it was another game that was really done really well. But the cool thing about this piece is that it fits Batman. Despite of him being based off of Zorro and the Shadow, which Zorro was another one of my favorite anti-detective heroes. Just how he moved and his tactics are pretty much just like a ninja, even if you didn't know what a ninja was, or if you were introduced to that part of the culture like much later on. He can escape, he can fight really really well. He has all these tricks just like a ninja. He dresses in all black and gray. In reality they say they really don't dress up like that, but it blends in with the night. So, or they do wear dark colors, I will say that. But you know, after seeing this, I really wanted more. Yeah, it'll be interesting if they can do all of Batman's rogues gallery, or just the DC, universe, yeah, as a whole. That'll be amazing to see. And the cool thing about Batman is that they were saying in an interview, it's not, you know, the Japanese anime thrown on Batman. It's really the Japanese seeing Batman through their eyes. And it kind of reminded me of one of the comic book stories where Batman was thrown like back in time, and I think he met these caveman people, and he made an impact on him. I think Darkseid hit him with the Omega Beam, and he went back in time, and he jumped from another time period, and he found the cave markings of himself in that time period, and how they saw him as the mighty bat, whatever you want to call it. So it's many adaptations with like Batman and Superman. DC's top two head honchos, of how they're adapted so many times, and it's so many different perspectives and whatnot. Like if they were real people, even they would be bashful that they made a legend literally out of us. 75 or possibly 100 years of stuff. So I really did enjoy this. This is one you can watch over and over again and see every little detail. Again, the anime, even it was a studio East and West collaboration. They did a very good job here. It just blows that, of course, it's not in theaters. I think the experience will blow out if it was in theaters. But I see many animated movies in theaters anymore. If you do, they're CG, computer animation. So it just blows, because I remember seeing The Lion King in theaters, and Aladdin, and you just don't see that anymore. The last movie was probably The Princess and the Frog, and either it's on TV or it's straight to video. But regardless, of course, I know a lot of people are going to check this out. There's some other reviews out there. Angry Joe had one. I haven't watched it yet. I can't think of anyone else who had one, another known YouTuber. But yeah, I'll check you guys in the next one. The next sets of movies I'm going to review are horror. I think the first one is, let me look. I'm looking at my rack right now. The first horror movie is going to be It, the remake. So, it's a good chunk of horror movies I have, and I'm even going to throw, like, even right after I do the horror, it might be one more that pops up somewhere else, or it might be a suspense. There's only one I can think of right now, or two. You can clarify it as horror, but we'll see when we get there. Hopefully someone give a comment, in the comment box and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much my review. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.